Gertrudes is very sad because her kitten Floque has passed away. He was already very old and died of natural causes. But Gertrudes was not resigned to the departure of her companion. On the day she went to bury him, she was very upset with God for taking Floque away from her. So she shouted bitterly towards the heavens, demanding an answer. Curiously, she sees something up there. She thinks the object is a plane or a bird, but it's actually a notebook. It falls to the ground and she runs to investigate. She wonders if it fell from a plane or helicopter. She picks up the item and on the cover it's written Life Note. She had already heard about Death Note from the anime, but Life Note seemed like a bad joke someone was playing on her. However, who could have done this? Right at such a delicate moment for her. So she opened it and there were some instructions on how to use it. The holder of this notebook can bring any deceased person back to life simply by writing their name and picturing the person in their mind. Still in disbelief, Gertrudes took the life note, put it under her arm and went inside the house. During the night, she couldn't sleep. So she got up and started looking at the notebook. She wrote her pet's name just to test it. What could it hurt, right? And when she finished, nothing happened. Of course, nothing was going to happen, right? She felt like a fool. Out of nowhere, she heard a meow coming from outside her house. When she opened the window, it really was Floque. My God, how could something like this happen? She hugged her pet and was very happy for his return. Floque came back from the dead in an unexplainable way. But for Gertrudes, that was all that mattered, that he was alive again. The next day, Gertrudes wakes up and smells something strange. The smell is from her kitten, who might be very dirty. She bathed him and now he's clean and smells nice. The next day she woke up to a strong stench again. Floque smelled like something rotten. He probably rummaged through the neighbor's trash and that's why he got so stinky. She gave her cat another bath, but when she put soap on his paw, it fell off. That's right, my friends. Gertrudes found out that her pet was decomposing. He came back to life, but in a dead body. In the middle of the night, she heard screaming coming from her parents' room. She woke up startled and went to check. They had been attacked. The animal she once knew no longer existed. Instead, it was a zombie beast thirsty for human brains. After all that, she was forced to bury him again, and with him, the life note. Hello, my friends. Today we're going to meet a creature called Umbrella Eater. Imagine that you're in the middle of a heavy rain. Without an umbrella and out of nowhere you find one. But by choosing to pick up this item, you'll be sentenced to a terrible end. November 2007, Rio de Janeiro. A man is coming back from work around 10 at night, eager to get home and relax. However, it starts to rain. A heavy downpour. He didn't check the weather forecast before leaving home, and now he's caught in a torrential rain, man. Without his umbrella, he'll get home soaked, and even worse, he might get his work laptop wet, which is in his backpack. He decided to go anyway and walked under the awnings, dodging the water. Coincidentally, when he reached a corner, he saw an umbrella in the corner. He checks to see if it's broken. But apparently it was forgotten, and its owner won't come back to get it in this storm, right? So he picks up the item, opens it, and walks to his stop. He notices that the inside of the umbrella is dripping a little water. Well, the umbrella must have a leak. That's probably why they threw it away. But it was doing the job, right, man? So he kept going. But after a while, he noticed that the drops were starting to have a different color and smell, man. They had a greenish color, bro, and a kind of rotten smell. What is that? Then he looks up. And he sees a bizarre scene. It looked like the inside of a mouth, and the edges had sharp teeth. He gets scared and tries to throw the item away, but he can't. His hands are stuck, man. The liquid that dripped turned out to be sticky. In a matter of seconds, the umbrella closes, sinking its teeth in, biting from the man's head down to his waist. Then the creature reveals itself. Umbrella Eater swallows the man easily, like an anaconda eats a deer. After a few minutes, there's no sign that a person was ever there. The creature will stay there, waiting to be picked up by someone who wants to protect themselves from the rain. And so the cycle continues. This creature appears on rainy days and takes advantage of people who need an umbrella. On days like this, it can consume up to about 6 adult humans. Since it doesn't rain all the time, it needs to store as many nutrients as possible for sunny days when it can't hunt. So my friends, be careful out there on rainy days. Umbrella Eater might be waiting for you. One night, a man was in his cabin getting ready to sleep, and suddenly he heard the door closing. He went to the window and saw his son Geraldino walking in the yard. Strange, what's he doing awake at this hour? He called the boy and he didn't answer. He kept walking until he reached the edge of the yard. When he got close and touched his shoulder, the boy said, "Dad, what are you doing here?" "I'm the one asking you, why aren't you sleeping, Geraldino?" And the boy can't answer why he's out there. The next day the same thing happens, and the father intercepts the boy at the door. "Where are you going, son? I heard a call from the backyard. Who called you?" "The talking rabbit." "And what does he want with you?" "He lives in a hole in our backyard. He invited me to visit his world. He said it's a fantastic world there and that he's already taken several children. I'm the only one left for this adventure." "Son, you are dreaming. Go back to bed and sleep." After putting his son to bed, he went to the backyard and soon approached the bushes by the fence. He heard a rustling in the leaves as if some animal was hiding. And when he parted the bushes, he saw a hole about 30 centimeters in diameter. He thought some animal was making its way through his backyard. He grabbed a shovel and threw dirt to cover the hole. Geraldino must have seen that hole and started making up these stories in his fertile imagination. That's what the father thought, right? So on the following night, around 11:33 at night, he went to his son's room to check if everything was okay, right? And to his surprise, he wasn't there. He searched every room and there was no sign of the boy. He immediately remembered the boy's story. He ran to the backyard, and when he got to the bushes, the hole was open again. But now it was a meter in diameter. He panicked and started crawling into the hole looking for his son. He doesn't know, but his son fell into Siren Bunny's lair. That's right, this creature looks like a normal cute bunny. But when night falls, it goes hunting. It usually appears in small towns. It looks for a neighborhood with plenty of children and digs tunnels into those people's yards. Its face opens up and a siren is revealed. With its antennas, it picks up the exact location and emits a hypnotic signal at the target. Only children can hear this frequency, and there's no way to defend against it, my friend. The only way for the child to get out of this trance is if someone from outside intervenes, right? That's how it manages to lure several children into its lair, man, and once they go in there, it's over.